Lyra sat at the window of the small room, watching the world outside. She had never seen trees like these before. The branches looked strange to her, and the air felt heavy with smells she did not know. Next to her, Vea lay on the bed, staring at the white ceiling. They were both tired after the long journey. Their ship had been attacked and they were sent far away from home. Now, they were here on Earth, in a town full of humans, and everything was new and frightening. Their hosts were kind but careful. The people in this house were a couple called Mr. and Mrs. Miller. They gave Lyra and Vea food, clean clothes, and a room to sleep. Mrs. Miller smiled a lot, but Lyra could see she was nervous. She did not know what to say to two girls from another planet. Mr. Miller was quieter and read the newspaper in the evenings. He did not talk much, but he made sure the girls had what they needed. Every day, Lyra felt grateful, but also lost. Lyra missed her parents and her little brother. She did not know if they were safe or even alive. She tried not to show her sadness to Vea, who was younger and more sensitive. Vea asked a lot of questions and sometimes cried at night. Lyra wanted to be strong for her, but it was not easy. She did not understand the language well. The sounds of English were sharp and strange. Sometimes she understood what the Millers were saying, but most of the time she just guessed. The girls started school a week after they arrived. Their first day was full of stares. Lyra and Vea looked different from the other kids. Their skin was a pale shade of blue, and their eyes were bright and large. The children whispered as the two girls walked down the hallway. Some looked scared, others just curious. Lyra felt the weight of every stare and wished she could be invisible. In their class, the teacher, Miss Harris, tried to make them feel welcome. She spoke slowly and used pictures to explain things. Sam, a boy with brown hair and kind eyes, sat near Lyra and offered her a pencil. Mia, a girl with a friendly smile, said hello to Vea. That small kindness made the girls feel a little less alone. At lunch, Sam and Mia invited them to sit at their table. Lyra was shy but sat down anyway, holding her lunch tightly. Vea did not say much, but she watched everything around her with wide eyes. The food was strange. Lyra missed the soft bread and sweet fruit from her home. She tried the sandwich Mia gave her, but the taste was very different. Still, she smiled and said, "Thank you." Vea picked at her food, not sure what was safe to eat. Sam noticed and gave her a piece of his apple. Vea took it and nodded. It was the first time either girl had tasted an earth apple. The flavor was tart, but Vea smiled. After school, the girls walked home with the Millers. On the way, they saw people working in their gardens or washing cars. Some waved, others just watched. Lyra felt like everyone knew they did not belong. That night, she looked out the window at the stars. She wondered if anyone from her planet was looking at the same sky, thinking of her. Days passed slowly. Lyra and Vea tried to learn more English. They watched television with the Millers, repeating words they heard. Mrs. Miller bought them notebooks and pencils. Lyra drew pictures of her home, while Vea drew the strange trees and birds she saw outside. At school, things were not always easy. Some kids were mean. They called the girls names and laughed at their accents. Lyra wanted to ignore them, but Vea sometimes cried after school. Sam and Mia stood up for the girls. When other children teased Lyra and Vea, Sam told them to stop. Mia always included the girls in games at recess. Slowly, the other kids got used to seeing Lyra and Vea. Some even asked them questions about their home planet. Lyra was nervous but tried to answer. She talked about the floating gardens and the tall silver trees back home. Mia listened with big eyes, amazed by the stories. Sam asked if they had animals on their planet. Lyra told him about the small, glowing creatures that sang at night. One evening, Mrs. Miller made a special meal. She asked the girls about food from their home, but Lyra could not remember the words. She tried to help cook, but she spilled flour everywhere and made a mess. Everyone laughed, and even Mr. Miller smiled. That night, the house felt warm and safe. Lyra and Vea felt like they were starting to belong, but there were still hard times. Sometimes Lyra heard people talking in the town saying things like, "They don't belong here," or "Why should we help them?" It made her feel small. She wished she could go home, but she did not know if that was possible. Via tried to be brave, but sometimes she hid under the blankets at night and cried. Lyra held her hand and told her stories until she fell asleep. The girls learned to use a small device they brought from their planet. It was a memory keeper full of old pictures and recordings. Lyra listened to her mother's voice every night, remembering home. She kept the device hidden under her pillow. Sometimes she let Via listen too. It made them feel better, but also sad. They missed their family and friends more than anything. One night, Lyra saw something strange in the sky. It was a bright light, moving fast. For a moment, she thought it was a ship from her planet coming to take them home. She ran outside and called Vea. They watched the light together, but it faded and disappeared. Lyra felt her hope slip away. She hugged Vea and promised they would be okay, no matter what. As the days went by, Lyra and Vea tried their best to fit in. They learned new words every day. Vea liked to play outside and explore the woods near the miller's house. Lyra spent more time reading books, trying to understand the world around her. The millers became more comfortable with the girls, and the town slowly started to accept them. Some people still whispered, but others smiled or waved. Lyra realized that life on Earth was not easy, but it was not all bad. She had new friends, a safe place to sleep, and people who cared. She knew she would never forget her old life, but maybe, just maybe, she could find a new one here. Vea started to laugh more, and her eyes looked brighter. For the first time since they arrived, Lyra felt hope growing inside her heart. One afternoon, Sam and Mia invited Lyra and Vea to play soccer at the park. Lyra was nervous, but Vea was excited. She wanted to try everything. Sam taught them how to kick the ball, and Mia showed them the rules. The girls laughed and ran in the sun. For a little while they forgot about being different. They were just kids playing together. Lyra smiled, knowing that even in a strange new world, kindness could make all the difference. Lyra woke up early the next morning. The room was quiet, and she could hear the soft breathing of Vea sleeping beside her. She got out of bed and opened the curtains. The sky was pink and orange, and she watched the sun rise above the trees. It was a new day, and Lyra felt a little stronger than before. She took her notebook and wrote down some new English words she learned the day before. She wanted to remember them so she could use them in school. When Vea woke up, she asked Lyra if they would go to school again. Vea was worried because the kids sometimes laughed at them, but she also wanted to see Mia and Sam. Lyra told her not to worry and promised to stay close. The girls got ready and went downstairs for breakfast. Mrs. Miller had made pancakes and eggs. Lyra and Vea were not used to this food, but they tried it. Mrs. Miller smiled and said, "You girls are learning so much. I'm proud of you." Lyra felt happy when she heard those words. On the way to school, Sam waited for them outside. He waved and smiled. He had brought 2 small books for the girls. One was a simple storybook, and the other was a book about animals. Lyra thanked him, and Vea hugged the animal book. Mia joined them and gave Vea a bracelet made of colorful beads. It was something small, but Vea wore it on her wrist all day. Lyra was glad to have friends like Sam and Mia. At school, the day started with math. The teacher tried to explain the problems, but Lyra and Vea had a hard time understanding. Sam helped Lyra with the numbers, and Mia drew pictures to show Vea what to do. Some other kids watched and whispered, but they did not tease as much as before. Lyra felt that things were slowly getting better. During lunch, Vea told a story about her old school on her planet. She used simple English, but Sam and Mia listened closely. She talked about a game they played called Light Ball, where kids chased glowing balls that floated in the air. Sam said he wished he could see that. Mia asked if Vea missed her home. Vea nodded and said she missed the songs her mother sang to her at night. Lyra felt her heart ache, but she smiled for her sister. After lunch, there was gym class. The teacher asked the students to play soccer. Vea wanted to try, so Sam and Mia helped her learn the rules. Lyra was nervous and stood on the side. She watched as Vea ran after the ball, laughing when she missed it. Sam clapped and cheered for her. For the first time, Vea felt like she was part of the group. Lyra saw that and felt proud. When they went back to class, Lyra heard some kids talking about her and Vea. They wondered why aliens had to come to their town. One girl said her mother did not like it. Lyra felt sad, but she did not say anything. She remembered what Mrs. Miller told her. People sometimes fear what they do not know. Lyra wanted to show them she was not dangerous. After school, Sam invited the girls to his house to do homework. Mrs. Miller said it was okay, so they went. Sam's house was full of pictures and funny drawings. His little brother Ben was shy at first, but soon joined them. They worked on math problems and read stories together. Lyra learned new words, and Vea drew pictures of animals from the book Sam gave her. Sam's mom brought them snacks and told Lyra and Vea they could come over any time. Lyra felt safe in Sam's house. Later that week, the school had a special event called Family Night. Parents and students came together to share food and stories. Mrs. Miller made a dish from a recipe Lyra helped her remember from her planet. It did not taste the same, but everyone wanted to try it. Sam and Mia sat with Lyra and Vea, and they laughed about the funny taste. Some parents came over and asked Lyra questions about her home. She tried to answer in English. Some listened kindly, but others looked uncomfortable. Still, Lyra was glad she tried. As days passed, Vea grew braver. She joined the soccer team. At school, the coach, Mr. Brown, was patient and taught her the rules slowly. The other girls on the team were curious at first, but soon liked Vea's energy. She was fast and liked to run, even if she did not always know where to go. Lyra joined the science club, where students built small robots and did experiments. Lyra liked the quiet of the lab and the feeling of building something with her hands. One day after school, a group of kids blocked Vea in the hallway. They asked her questions in a mean voice, saying she did not belong. Vea was scared, but Mia saw what was happening and rushed over. She stood in front of Vea and told the bullies to stop. Sam arrived too and told the teacher. The bullies got in trouble, and Vea thanked Mia and Sam for helping her. That night, Vea told Lyra she felt lucky to have real friends on Earth. At home, the girls talked to Mrs. Miller about their day. Mrs. Miller hugged them and said, "You two are brave. Things will get better." Lyra wanted to believe her. She knew some people still did not trust them, but she also saw more smiles every day. The girls worked hard to learn the language. They practiced reading and writing with Sam and Mia. The teacher said Lyra was smart and that Vea had a kind heart. Sometimes the girls missed home so much that it hurt. On those nights, Lyra and Vea sat together and listened to old songs from their memory keeper. They cried, but then they told each other stories about the new friends they made and the things they learned. It made the sadness a little less heavy. One afternoon, the town had a fair. There were rides, games, and food stands. Sam and Mia asked Lyra and Vea to come with them. At first the girls were nervous, but they wanted to try new things. Vea tried cotton candy and laughed when it stuck to her fingers. Lyra rode the Ferris wheel and saw the whole town from high above. She felt small but also free. The four friends played games and won small prizes. At the end of the day, they watched fireworks together. Lyra had never seen anything like it. The bright colors in the sky made her think of the light shows on her own planet. Vea wanted to thank Sam and Mia for being their friends. She made them small gifts from beads and string. Lyra wrote a letter to Mrs. Miller saying thank you for her kindness. The Millers read the letter and put it on the fridge. Lyra felt proud. She was learning to live in this new world. She did not forget her old life, but she started to like her new one too. Sometimes, Lyra sat at the window at night and wondered about her family. She did not know if they would ever see each other again. But she remembered something her mother said, "Where there is kindness, you can always find home." Lyra hoped that was true. Each day she felt a little braver and a little less alone. The seasons changed. The days grew colder and leaves fell from the trees. Lyra and Vea got warm coats and boots. They played in the snow with Sam and Mia. For the first time, the girls built a snowman and made snow angels. Mrs. Miller made hot chocolate, and everyone laughed when Vea tried it for the first time. Lyra knew life would never be the same as it was on her own planet, but she also knew she could make a new life here. She looked at Vea, who was smiling and happy, and felt hope for the future. She did not know what would happen next, but she was ready to find out. Lyra knew she was not alone anymore, and that made all the difference. Winter turned to spring, and Lyra and Vea started to feel more at home in the small town. The days became warmer, and flowers began to grow again. The people in the town started to see Lyra and Vea not just as aliens, but as part of the community. The girls were learning more every day and began to smile more easily. Sam and Mia stayed close to them, always ready to help or make them laugh. Lyra loved the school science club. She liked to work on small machines and solve problems. The teacher, Mr. Grant, saw her talent and encouraged her to enter a science contest. Lyra was nervous. She had never done anything like that before. Sam and Mia promised to help her. They spent many afternoons working together in the school lab. Lyra showed them how to use simple parts to build a small robot. She explained that on her planet, children learn to build things from a young age. Sam was amazed by her skills, and Mia wrote about the project in her journal. Vea enjoyed playing soccer. She was fast and full of energy. At first, some of the other players were unsure about letting her join the team. But after Vea helped the team win their first game, they started to cheer for her. The coach said Vea was a natural. The team even made a chant with her name. Vea felt proud and happy every time she ran across the field. After games, she and her friends shared snacks and stories. Vea sometimes missed her home, but on the soccer field, she felt strong and free. The school year went on, and soon it was time for the science contest. Lyra was excited but scared. She worked on her robot day and night. Sam and Mia helped her practice explaining how it worked in English. The night before the contest, Mrs. Miller made Lyra's favorite food and told her she would do great. Lyra felt her nerves calm down. She remembered how lost she felt when she first arrived, but now she was ready to show everyone what she could do. At the contest, many students showed their projects. Some built volcanoes, others had simple machines. When it was Lyra's turn, she stood in front of the judges with her small robot. She spoke slowly and explained how she made it. She talked about how building things helped her feel less alone. The judges listened carefully and the crowd was quiet. Sam and Mia smiled at her from the side. When she finished, the room was silent for a moment, then everyone clapped. Lyra felt her cheeks get warm. Later that day, the winners were announced. Lyra's robot won first place. She could not believe it. The whole school cheered for her, and even the children who used to be mean came to say congratulations. Lyra felt proud, and for the first time, she believed she could really belong in this new world. Mr. Grant shook her hand and told her she had a bright future. Lyra thanked Sam and Mia for believing in her. That night, she wrote about the contest in her notebook and showed Vea the ribbon she won. Vea hugged her and said she was the best sister in the world, while Lyra was busy with the science club. Vea's soccer team got ready for a big match. The team practiced hard every day. Vea worked on her kicking and running. She learned to pass the ball and play as a team. The other players taught her new tricks. On the day of the match, the whole school came to watch. Vea felt nervous but remembered what Coach Brown said. Just have fun and do your best. The game was close and everyone cheered. In the last few minutes, Vea ran faster than anyone else and scored the winning goal. Her team lifted her up and chanted her name. Vea felt so happy that she wanted to jump and dance. After the game, the team celebrated with pizza and music. Vea smiled and laughed with her friends. She looked for Lyra in the crowd and waved. Lyra hugged her and said she was proud. That night, the girls sat in their room and talked about how much had changed since they arrived on Earth. Lyra said she felt less afraid. Vea said she liked having friends who cared about her. As the girls became more comfortable, they started to share more about their home planet with Sam and Mia. One afternoon, they sat under a tree and told stories about the floating gardens, the soft glowing animals, and the music that filled the nights back home. Sam and Mia listened closely, full of questions. They asked what it was like to fly in a spaceship, what food tasted like on their world, and if they had pets. Lyra showed them a small device that played a recording of her mother singing. The sound was soft and strange, but Mia said it was beautiful. Sam promised to help Lyra and Vea learn as much as they could about Earth too. The people in the town started to change too. The mayor decided to start an annual Friendship Day. Inspired by the story of Lyra and Vea, everyone was invited to bring food and play games from their own cultures. Lyra and Vea helped make decorations and showed the children how to make simple crafts from their planet. The town square was full of music and laughter. For the first time, Lyra felt like she was really part of something special. One night, Lyra was in her room working on a new project when her device beeped. It was a message, but not from her family. It was a secret code sent from a group of aliens far away. The message said they were coming to rescue Lyra and Vea and take them home. Lyra stared at the screen, her heart beating fast. She called Vea to see the message. Vea was excited but also scared. They talked quietly, not sure what to do. They wanted to go home, but they also did not want to leave their friends or new life. Sam noticed that Lyra was quiet the next day. He asked if something was wrong. Lyra wanted to tell him about the message but was not sure if she should. She finally told Sam everything. Sam was sad and worried. He did not want his friends to leave. Mia also found out and told Lyra that she would miss her if she left. Lyra and Vea talked about the message every night. They did not know what was the right thing to do. Should they go back to their old planet or stay with their new friends? The girls kept the message secret from the Millers. They wanted time to think. Lyra watched the sky every night, looking for a sign. She felt pulled between two worlds. Vea sometimes cried because she missed her family, but she also loved her new life. Sam and Mia tried to help them, saying that whatever they chose, they would always be their friends. As the day of the rescue came closer, Lyra and Vea started to say goodbye to the places and people they loved. They visited the park, the school lab, and the soccer field. They spent time with Sam, Mia, and the Millers, laughing and taking pictures. Lyra felt her heart breaking. She wished she did not have to choose. She wanted to keep both lives. One night, Lyra wrote a letter to her mother, telling her about all the good things she found on Earth. Vea made small gifts for her friends and the Millers, so they would not forget her. The night before the rescue ship was supposed to come, Lyra and Vea sat together in the dark. They held hands and talked about their dreams. Lyra said she wanted to be brave, no matter what happened. Vea said she wanted to feel safe and happy. They promised each other that whatever they decided, they would face it together. The world outside was quiet, and the stars seemed to watch over them. Lyra knew that soon everything would change again. She just hoped they would make the right choice. The night of the rescue came quickly. Lyra and Vea could hardly sleep. They sat on their beds, whispering to each other in the quiet room. Lyra looked at the small memory keeper and wondered if she would ever see the Millers, Sam, or Mia again. Vea clutched her new soccer ball, a gift from her team, and did not want to let it go. They knew that once the rescue ship arrived, they would have to make their choice. That day at school, everything felt different. Lyra and Vea tried to act normal, but they were quiet and distracted. Sam and Mia noticed right away. At lunch, Mia leaned in and asked if the girls were okay. Lyra told her about the rescue message. Sam put his hand on Lyra's and said, "We want you to stay, but we understand if you need to go home." Mia nodded, but her eyes were sad. Vea could not eat and kept looking out the window. After school, Sam and Mia walked home with Lyra and Vea. The four friends stopped at the park and sat under their favorite tree. Sam picked up a stick and drew a spaceship in the dirt. He said, "You came from far away, but you belong here too." Vea felt tears in her eyes and hugged Mia. They sat together for a long time, saying very little but understanding everything. When the girls returned home, the Millers were waiting. Mrs. Miller looked worried. She knew something was wrong, but Lyra was not sure how to explain. Vea took a deep breath and told the Millers about the rescue message. She said they might leave Earth forever. Mrs. Miller hugged the girls and said, "We will miss you, but you must do what feels right for you." Mr. Miller nodded, his face serious but kind. The house felt heavy with silence, and Lyra wondered if she was making a mistake by leaving. That evening, the Millers and Sam's family planned a small farewell party for Lyra and Vea. Sam and Mia helped hang paper stars and colored lights around the living room. Mia made a photo album with pictures of all their best days together. Sam baked cookies shaped like rockets. Vea smiled, even though she felt like crying. Everyone from school sent cards, and some of the soccer team came to say goodbye. Coach Brown gave Vea a team jersey with her name on it. During the party, Lyra felt overwhelmed by all the love and kindness. She remembered when she and Vea first arrived, scared and alone. Now she saw smiles everywhere. Mia handed her the photo album. Inside were pictures of their first soccer game, the science contest, playing in the snow, and laughing at the town fair. Lyra could hardly believe how much had changed. Sam gave Lyra a small stone he found by the river. He said, "When you hold this, remember us." Lyra promised she would. After everyone left, Lyra and Vea went to their room and sat together in the dark. Vea cried quietly. Lyra wiped her tears and said, "We don't have to decide yet." They lay down, holding hands, and listened to the quiet house. Lyra thought about her family back home and the new family she found here. In the middle of the night, Lyra woke up. She looked out the window and saw a strange light moving above the trees. She shook Vea awake. "It's time," Lyra said. They dressed quietly and slipped outside. The sky was full of stars, but one star moved closer and brighter. It landed in a field behind the school. Lyra and Vea walked hand in hand, their hearts beating fast. In the field, they saw the rescue team waiting. There were 3 aliens, tall and strong, wearing uniforms from their old planet. One of them stepped forward and said, "We are here to take you home." Lyra looked at Vea. They had dreamed about this moment, but now it felt strange. The rescue team asked if they were ready. Vea hesitated. She looked back at the town, the school, and the houses where her new friends slept. Lyra thought about the life they had built. She asked if they could say goodbye, but the team said they must leave now if they wanted to go. Vea shook her head. "I don't want to leave," she whispered. Lyra felt tears fill her eyes. The rescue team said if they stayed, they could never return to their old world. They would lose their chance to see their family again. Lyra felt her heart break. She looked at Vea, who was crying now. The girls held each other. Lyra remembered the kindness of the Millers, the laughter with Sam and Mia, the feeling of being accepted. She thought about the stories she would never finish telling, the games Vea would never play again if they left. The leader of the rescue team waited. "You must decide," he said. Lyra closed her eyes. She thought of her mother's voice from the memory keeper. She thought of Sam's stone in her pocket. She whispered, "I want to stay." Vea nodded and squeezed her hand. "Me too." The rescue team nodded sadly. "We respect your choice." The ship lifted off quietly and disappeared into the sky. Lyra and Vea stood in the field, watching. Until the light was gone, they hugged each other tightly. For a long time they did not speak. Finally Vea said, "We are really staying." Lyra nodded. She felt sad but also free. She knew they had made the right choice, even though it hurt. As the sky grew lighter, the girls walked home together. The town was quiet and peaceful. Lyra thought about how far they had come. She did not know what the future would bring, but she was ready to face it. Vea smiled for the first time that night. "We have each other," she said. Lyra smiled back. "And we have friends." The next morning, the Millers found the girls asleep on their beds. Mrs. Miller hugged them and said, "I'm glad you are still here." Sam and Mia came over later and asked what happened. Lyra and Vea told them everything. Sam cheered and Mia cried tears of happiness. The 4 friends promised to always stay together. That afternoon, Lyra and Vea went to the park with Sam and Mia. They played soccer, climbed trees, and made up new games. The sun was bright, and the air was full of laughter. Lyra felt light and happy. She knew there would be hard days ahead, but she was not afraid anymore. She had found her place in this new world. Vea said, "Let's make this our new home." Lyra agreed. They were not just visitors anymore. They belonged. Lyra and Vea woke early the next morning. The sun was bright and birds sang outside their window. They felt warm and safe in the house. Mrs. Miller knocked and brought them breakfast. Lyra smiled and said thank you. Vea nodded and ate her pancakes quickly. They still had time before school. Today felt different. It was their first full day at school after saying no to the rescue. On the way, Sam and Mia met them. They high-fived Vea and gave Lyra a small flower. Sam said, "We are proud of you too." Vea felt happy and held the flower tightly. Lyra tucked it into her notebook. The girls realized how much they had grown. They walked with their friends, talking about their plans for the day. At school, things felt normal again. Lyra went to the science lab and Vea to the soccer field. During homeroom, Miss Harris asked Lyra to share her story with the class. Lyra stood and spoke in simple English. She told about her planet, her journey, and why she chose to stay. The class was silent, listening. When she finished, many students clapped. Some even said they were sorry for teasing her before. Lyra felt proud and relieved. In science class, Lyra met Mr. Grant and her club friends. They asked how she felt. Lyra said she was happy and ready to work on new projects. Mr. Grant showed her a new model rocket kit. He said they would build it together. Lyra's eyes lit up. She never thought she would build rockets on Earth, but now it was possible. Meanwhile, Vea's soccer practice was full of smiles. Her teammates cheered her when she scored goals. Coach Brown said she was the star player. Vea ran and kicked the ball with joy. She remembered how she once feared the field, but now she loved it. After practice, the team gave her a small medal for her courage. At lunch, the friends met under the big oak tree. They shared stories and laughed. Mia said she missed the usual farewell party treats, but she was happy the girls stayed. Sam took out his sketchbook and drew pictures of everyone. Vea drew funny faces on the pictures. Lyra wrote new words in her notebook: friend, home, and brave. After school, the town held a special meeting at the community center. The mayor, Mr. Thompson, invited Lyra and Vea to speak about their experiences. The room was full of townspeople. Lyra felt nervous. Vea squeezed her hand. When Lyra stood and spoke, her voice shook at first, but she remembered her choice. She told the people how they helped her feel welcome and how she loved life on Earth. Vea spoke next, saying she found family here with their friends. The crowd applauded. Many people came forward to shake their hands and say thank you. That evening, Mrs. Miller took the girls out for ice cream at the local cafe. They sat on a bench by the window. Lyra tried a flavor called mint chip and Vea chose strawberry. Vea laughed when her ice cream melted on her hand. Lyra giggled and helped clean Vea's hands. Mrs. Miller said, "You girls have shown everyone that kindness can change the world." Lyra and Vea smiled shyly. At home, the girls worked on a surprise. They wanted to thank the town for their support. Lyra gathered her science club friends to help build small light-up decorations. Vea and her soccer team made paper flowers and flags. On Friendship Day, they planned to decorate the town square with their gifts. Friendship Day arrived, and the town square buzzed with energy. People brought food, played music, and danced. Laura's lights glowed softly, and Vea's flowers brightened the booths. Sam and Mia helped set up. The mayor opened the event and invited Lyra and Vea to cut a ribbon. The girls held scissors together and cut it. Everyone cheered. Throughout the day, Lyra guided children in making simple circuits. They were amazed when the lights blinked. Vea taught kids how to kick a soccer ball and run drills. The laughter and joy filled the square. Lyra and Vea saw their families in the faces of friendly strangers. They felt proud. As evening came, lanterns lit up the sky. Lyra held Vea's hand and looked around. She realized this town was her home now. She thought of her old planet and her family, but knew she had found something special here. Vea rested her head on Lyra's shoulder. The sisters shared a quiet smile. After the event, Lyra and Vea received a message on their device. It was from a distant relative, checking if they were safe. Lyra replied in simple code, telling them they were fine and had found a new life. She did not mention the rescue team. She wrote that Earth was their home and that they were happy. That night, the sisters sat by the window, watching the glowing lanterns fade. Vea said, "I never thought I could feel at home so far from home." Lyra nodded. "We have each other, and we have friends. We belong." Life continued with school, clubs, and games. Lyra and Vea helped the town learn about other worlds, and the town helped them learn about Earth's wonders. They never forgot their old lives, but embraced their new one. They knew they faced challenges, but they also had courage and friendship. Lyra placed Sam's river stone on her desk. She wrote a final note in her notebook. "Home is where we choose to be." Vea added her soccer medal next to it. The sisters looked at their keepsakes and smiled. They had made a choice that changed everything, and they were ready for whatever came next. Spring turned to summer, and the town was full of light and warmth. Lyra and Vea woke early every day, ready for new adventures. They had grown stronger and more confident since they chose to stay on Earth. The school year had ended, and now they spent their days exploring and learning outside of class. Lyra and Vea often met Sam and Mia at the riverbank near the old bridge. The river flowed gently, and the water sparkled in the sun. Sam taught the girls how to skip stones, and Mia showed them how to collect pretty pebbles. Vea liked to find shells washed ashore, even though the river was fresh water. She said each shell was a treasure from Earth. One morning, Lyra found a notebook by the river. It was weathered and worn, but inside were drawings and notes about local plants and animals. She and Vea decided to finish the notebook, adding their own observations. Lyra drew the tall trees and the birds she saw. Vea wrote simple words to describe the flowers and insects. When they finished, they gave the notebook to the town library. The librarian said it would help others learn about their world. Meanwhile, the town prepared for the summer festival. This event was larger than Friendship Day, with music, markets, and dances. The mayor invited Lyra and Vea to be guest speakers. Again, the girls felt proud but a little nervous. They practiced their speech with Sam and Mia using simple English. They wanted everyone to know how much they loved Earth and the town. On the day of the festival, the town square was alive with color. Stalls sold crafts, foods, and local art. A stage was set in the center, decorated with ribbons and flowers. Lyra and Vea stood together behind the curtain. Vea squeezed Lyra's hand and whispered, "We can do this." Lyra nodded, feeling brave. When their turn came, they stepped onto the stage. Lyra held a small microphone and spoke softly. She told the crowd about her journey from a distant planet, the kindness of the Millers and her friends Sam and Mia. She said Earth had given her hope and a family. Vea followed, smiling as she spoke about the wonders she discovered, rivers, forests, and the laughter of children. The crowd listened quietly, moved by their words. After their speech, people came forward to shake their hands and give them small gifts, handmade jewelry, painted stones, and ribbons. Some children asked questions about Lyra's planet, and she answered as best she could. Parents thanked Vea for her courage. The mayor presented the girls with medals of honor for their service to the community. Lyra and Vea felt tears of joy. Following the speeches, music began. A local band played cheerful songs and townspeople danced. Sam pulled Lyra to the dance floor, and Mia took Vea's hand. The girls laughed and swayed to the music. For a moment, Lyra felt weightless, as if she was floating on air. She looked at Vea and saw the same joy in her eyes. Later, at the edge of the festival, Lyra and Vea sat on a bench, watching the lights and listening to the music. Vea said, "I never thought I could be so happy." Lyra smiled and replied, "We found a home here." They sat quietly, letting the night wrap around them. That night, back at the Miller's house, Lyra and Vea wrote letters to their families on their planet. They used simple code and images to tell them about Earth. They said they missed them, but had found a new life full of friendship and hope. They sent the messages through a special channel in their device, hoping someone would read them. The next morning, Lyra and Vea received replies. Their families said they understood and supported their choice. The messages were filled with love and pride. Lyra felt her heart fill with warmth. She knew she was not alone. even thousands of miles away. As the summer days continued, Lyra and Vea helped the Millers with community work. They painted fences, cleaned parks, and visited the elderly in their homes. They learned that small acts of kindness could change lives. The townspeople saw them not as aliens, but as friends and helpers. One afternoon, a group of children asked Lyra and Vea to teach them a song from their planet. The girls gathered the children under the oak tree. Lyra pressed a button on her memory keeper, and her mother's voice filled the air, singing a soft, gentle tune. The children listened in wonder. Vea taught them simple words of the song. Soon, the children were singing along, even though their voices were far from perfect. Lyra and Vea smiled, happy to share a piece of their home. At the end of the summer, the town held a farewell picnic for the Millers' exchange student who was leaving. The Millers invited Lyra and Vea to join. They sat together on a blanket, eating sandwiches and fruit. The exchange student, who had learned about Lyra and Vea's story, gave them a small globe as a parting gift. She said, "No matter where you go, this will remind you of Earth." Lyra took the globe and held it carefully. As autumn approached, Lyra and Vea prepared for the new school year. They felt ready. They had learned English well, made friends, and found their place. They packed their bags, including Sam's stone, Vea's medal, and the small globe. They hugged Mrs. Miller and Mr. Miller and thanked them for their kindness. On the first day back in school, Lyra and Vea walked through the doors with confidence. Sam and Mia met them at the entrance, cheering. The other students clapped and smiled. Lyra realized how much they had grown. They were no longer strangers. In class, Lyra helped others with science experiments, and Vea joined the soccer team again. They laughed and learned. At lunchtime, they sat with Sam and Mia, planning their next adventure. Lyra looked at her friends and thought of how different her life had become. That evening, Lyra and Vea sat by the river once more. The sun set in shades of orange and pink. They held their keepsakes, Sam's stone, the globe, the medal, and thought of their journey. Vea said, "We did the right thing." Lyra nodded. "We found our home." As the stars appeared, Lyra pointed to the sky and said, "Maybe someone up there is watching and smiling." Vea laughed softly and rested her head on Lyra's shoulder. They sat in silence, comfortable and content. They had faced war, loss, and hard choices, but now they had a future full of hope. The world around them was peaceful, and they felt at peace too. Lyra and Vea knew they would always remember their old home, but Earth was now their world. They had saved themselves by choosing to stay, and in doing so, they saved each other. Their story would inspire others for years to come, and so, under the wide sky, the two sisters closed their eyes, ready for whatever tomorrow would bring.